Thank you, Bill, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Lucky Strike Theater, coming to you from Studio 8H in New York City. We have tonight a rather unusual story. It concerns a hero who weighs over 1 million pounds. He's over 132 feet in length. And when the men of the Union Pacific first saw him, they called him Big Boy, for he's the largest steam engine in the world. And Big Boy is right here in Studio 8H with the engineer. Tonight's other star is Mr. Ed Begley, and he will soon get up a load of steam, and you'll see them highball it out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, with a fine length of freight train about 1 mile long.
Big boy, big boy, big boy is my name. If ever you have a heavy haul, all you have to do is call on Big Boy. Big boy, big boy is my name.
Tonight we're going to meet a man named Joe Grant. And Joe Grant is in love. In fact, he has 2 loves. One is his wife, Amy. Nothing very special about Amy. She's not particularly pretty, certainly not brilliant. In a way, she's not too much of anything. The other love, the big thing in Joe's life, is an engine.
All in freight's my game.
This is Union Pacific's Big Boy, Joe's love, his baby. Some baby. For this is the largest locomotive in the world. The baby's weight, 1,189,500 pounds. Measurements, 32 feet. Formula, 28 tons of coal at a gulp washed down with 25,000 gallons of water. Ask Joe. He's the father. Joe's the engineer. This is Joe Grant's house in Cheyenne, Wyoming. In a little while now, when the dawn comes up, we'll see that it could stand a coat of paint. Joe wouldn't know. He's lived here nearly 25 years, and in a way, he's never seen it. This is a call boy for the railroad. His name is Mickey, and he's supposed to wake Joe up a full 90 minutes before his run. That's a call boy's job. He was held up in the snow, also he should never have stopped to stare at the pictures in front of the movie house.
Joe? Joe Grant? Joe!
All right, you want to wake the whole town?
Joe, you're late.
You mean you're late?
You got time. Boy, it's cold out.
You get Ed Marley up?
He's up. Hey, ain't this the day Bill gets home?
He gets in on 102 at 6:30.
102, how come?
Well, he's coming from San Francisco, that's how come. Now go on, beat it.
Passes ain't no good on 102.
Since when does a soldier need a company pass?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You think he'll bring any stuff from Japan? Any souvenirs or stuff? Maybe one of those swords?
You hear that? You're late.
That's just Russo. He always hangs on a cord when he's hustling.
It's not Russo. That's not his touch. It's Mike.
Yeah, I guess it is. He's got the Rundle Army.
I know.
See, if Bill's got a sword, I'll buy it off him. Tell him?
Sure.
Yeah, this is Joe Grant. Railroad man, engineer, hogger. Joe's thinking now. He looks worried. Is it about his son, about Bill, who's coming in on the streamliner at 6:30 tonight? Coming home, finally, after a long stretch in Korea and Japan? No, it's not about Bill. Maybe it's about that new slipcover Amy made for the easy chair. It's been there over a week now. No, he hasn't seen it. Joe's like that around the house. He just doesn't notice things. Been living here, right here, all these years, and he never really looked at his home at all. Why? Joe's in love. He's been in love since September 1941, when Sam Stacy, the chief dispatcher, squinted over his glasses at Joe and said, "They're bringing in a new engine, Joe, the biggest steam locomotive in the whole world. You're going to be the hogger." That's when Joe Grant fell in love. When he heard that engine's whistle that first morning, he looked at the 16 wheels, the 2,000 square feet of heating surface. He named it Big Boy. He's been in love ever since.
Mickey, come.
Come in on.
You have a call?
Yeah, run to Laramie. Mike's tying up in the yard.
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't go out today.
Well, my name's ahead of the list.
You could lay off for a day with Bill coming home and all. Want eggs?
No, thanks. I thought I'd go down the yard a little early today. Number 12's due out, and I noticed the right injector's clogged. I'll try to deadhead home before 102 gets in.
Joe,
Yeah?
you were restless last night. Let me look at you.
Oh, now, Amy.
Maybe you're all right, but you got something on your mind. I can tell just looking at you.
What can you tell by looking, Amy? If Joe loves you, too? He seems to. Sometimes you wonder, though. You wonder if that man loves anything except Big Boy. If he thinks about anything else. Ever. If he sees anything else. You wish he'd noticed the new cover and just say something about it. Anything. He won't, though. Not Joe. Why did he look so worried this morning? Why did he toss in his sleep all night? Joe Grant may not notice a new slipcover on a chair, but let somebody lay a foot of new track here in the yards, and Joe would spot it in a minute. For this is Joe's world. The freight yards at Cheyenne. In 24 hours, 190 freight trains pull in and out of this yard. And Joe Grant knows them all. Grape trains from California, cattle trains headed for the market in Omaha in the east, trains loaded with tanks and ammunition for the west coast, freight trains with names. Joe knows them all. That's the freight dispatcher's office Joe's standing in front of. In a moment, he'll go inside and sign in. Sign for his run up Sherman Hill to Laramie. That's Mike, the yard pilot. Joe's train is all set up now and ready to go. A mile of freight cars, ready for Joe to take them up Sherman Hill. Better get into your suit, Joe. Big Boy's all set to go.
Big boy, big boy, big boy is my name.
That's Ed Marley, Joe's fireman. Been on the run with Joe for nearly 6 years. Check the valves, get her hot, get Big Boy set to roll as soon as Joe climbs up into the cab. Boilers look okay, Ed? They'd better. There's 1 million pounds of power in there. 300 to the square inch. Ed's satisfied. After all, this is routine. Here's something that's not routine. Not to Ed Marley, anyway. You know what Ed's looking at? His dream. Over there is the passenger yard. Ed Marley's big dream. Ah, so that's it. The streamliner. And Ed Marley isn't dreaming of firing on that train either. No, sir. He's thinking how it would be to ride on it, to be a passenger, to get on that train and move out of Cheyenne and head for Chicago, maybe, or the west. 1,304 miles ahead on the main line to Los Angeles. He's really lost in that private dream now. What's he thinking about? Well, what could happen on a train like that? Maybe in the club car you meet a pretty girl and you get to talking to her and she turns out to be Lana Turner. Maybe, or Marilyn Monroe. Have a drink with her. Man, anything can happen on a streamliner.
All set?
All set.
Check your watch.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I hear Bill's coming home.
Hey, gets in on 102 tonight.
Looks like I'll lose my job. You gonna sign on?
Why not?
Well, if he makes fireman, Stacy will assign him to you.
Oh, he's got a long time before that. You check that right injector?
Yeah, I checked it. It's okay. Oh, did you look at the bulletin board in the washroom?
Today?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I just wondered.
Funny. Joe seems upset by the bulletin board. Plenty worried. Amy was right. Maybe something is wrong. That's 2 longs, Joe, your signal. Come on, whatever it is, shake it off. You've got work to do. Look at them, Joe. Lined up behind you and Big Boy. Freight cars loaded with auto parts, guns, tractors, sand, gravel, brand new refrigerators. A little of everything waiting for you to take it up the long, steep grade to Sherman Hill and down to Laramie. They're your train orders, handed up from the conductor. You know those orders, Joe. You know them by heart. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Here's a new one. Reduce speed to 10 miles per hour at milepost 30. You must be working on the tracks up there. Okay, reduce speed to 10 miles an hour. Brake pressure is 70 pounds. Set up the air, Joe. Now release them. Now reach up and grab that throttle, Joe. Big boy's about to get rolling. Brakeman aboard? Yep, there he goes. Now check Ed once more. Set. Now get your track signal. Can't move without that. Oh, it's red. What's the matter with those guys in CTC? Don't they know you're ready to roll? Why don't they give you the green light? That's it. Tell them. Tell them you're waiting. Let's go. Ah, that's more like it. We've got a green light now. Joe Grant, hogger, engineer. Nothing bothers him now. Bulletin boards back in the washroom. Bill coming home on the 102. Nothing. Joe Grant, engineer and big boy, starts to roll.
Ever you have a heavy haul, all you have to do is call on Big Boy. Big Boy. Big Boy is my name.
Joe's never stopped to figure how many times he's made this run to Laramie. 100? 200? 1,000 would be more like it. And this is the toughest job on the line. This is why Big Boy was born. Why they built a steam engine big enough and powerful enough to take a mile of freight straight up the hill, 2,000 feet up from Cheyenne and down again. He's calling for power now. Power for one of the toughest climbs in railroading. And it lies dead ahead.
Whenever you have a heavy haul, all you have to do is call Big Boy. Big Boy. Big Boy is mine.
Dale Cut!
Ed knows it's the Dale Cut. Knows it as well as you do, Joe. Well, maybe not quite so well. Joe used to bring Amy out here to the Dale Cut years ago. That's what he's looking at now. Funny how a man remembers little things. Joe used to sit up there on top with Amy, and they'd make plans. Big plans. Of course, that was a long time ago, before Bill was born. Ease it up a little, Joe. Take it nice and easy going through the cut. Kind of nice in summer when it's green and warm, sitting up there on top in the evening. He and Amy used to dream up there about the house they'd build someday, and maybe later on a trip to Chicago. All that was a long time ago, of course. Ed's taken a girl up to the top of the cut, too. A girl. Oh, dozens. But best of all was that school teacher from back east. June, her name was. Blonde hair, big blue eyes, and she was some school teacher. Came out to Cheyenne last July. Wanted to meet a real live cowboy. It's all right. Ed's a cowboy in a way, only he rides 1,000,000 pounds of iron and steel. Tunnel's up ahead, Ed. Joe's right. Get that respirator on before the cab is filled with smoke. You can think about that school teacher later on. One thing Ed's never liked is wearing that respirator. No reason, he just doesn't. Now, on a streamliner rolling along toward Hollywood, you wouldn't need a mask at all. The diner'd be air-conditioned, they'd have the car all lit up, and there wouldn't be any smoke at all. Oh, now what's Joe doing? Joe Grant's like a kid sometimes. Now, he didn't need to open that fire door at all. That's Ed's job. But when they're going through the tunnel, Joe always gets up, opens the door, likes to look at it. It's like a little kid. Joe knows this run like the back of his hand. Let's take a quick look at those train orders, he thinks. That's right. Reduce speed to 10 miles an hour at milepost 30. Slow it down now. They're working on the track up ahead. See, there are some track workers. Easy now. Down to 10 miles an hour. Joe won't have time to wave out that window now, for the top of the hill is just up ahead. Joe can feel it coming. Feel it in the pull of a mile of cars behind him. Feel the strain in the pull as all that power goes into getting up to the top. Watch it now. When you go up a hill, you've also got to come down. You can feel that too, Joe. Feel the tons of fire and steel start to tumble down the side of the hill. Gaining speed now, gaining speed. Ease it downhill, Joe. Now, here's Joe, worried about something. Not now. He's not thinking about that bulletin board. All Joe Grant knows is that Big Boy's doing his job. He's roaring into Laramie right on time, and Joe's in control. But what about that bulletin board in the washroom back in Cheyenne? He'll deadhead back there tonight. Wonder what's on it.
I hear the train a-comin' round the curve, whistling and a-blowing and straining every nerve. There's freight from California all the way from Alabama, and the drive wheels sing a song to me, for I'm a railroad man. Times are getting hard, boys. Money's getting scarce. If times don't get no better, boys, don't leave this place. Take my true love by the hand, lead her from the town. Say goodbye to everyone, goodbye to everyone.
Hey, Joe. Remember I asked you if you checked the board? There's a message for you. You want it? It's in the company envelope.
No. I'll leave it there.
Hey, Grant, there's a company message for you stuck in a bulletin board.
Tonight in Joe's home near the yards in Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is a very special occasion. It isn't every night a boy comes home from overseas. Yeah, very special occasion. Boy's first night home. Amy had the house slicked up by noon, and at 4:30 she went over to Miss Madden's over on Pioneer Avenue and had her hair done. Looks nice, too. Although Joe didn't notice. Matter of fact, something's wrong with Joe tonight, and Amy knows it. Not much about that man she doesn't know except what's bothering him. Can't be Bill. Why, Joe's been counting the days waiting for Bill, counting the months even. And what's bothering him? It's that envelope. Joe's read what's in it. And this is the one thing Joe just can't talk about to anybody, not even Amy. Even though if she knew, she'd understand. For Joe is scared of what's in that envelope. What's in it? Well, it's a routine notice for his annual physical. Once a year, every employee must report for a physical exam. Happens every day. And Joe's gone through it many times. Just report to Doc Lynch over at the medical office tomorrow, and Doc will take a look and say, Joe, you're fine. Never saw Hogger in better shape. Only this year, it's somehow different. Somehow, last birthday, Joe realized he was 55, and something happened. And for months, he's been dreading this year's exam. What if they found something wrong? And you had to say goodbye to Big Boy?
Joe, wake up and eat your supper. Something wrong?
No, Amy, nothing's wrong. It's fine, just fine.
Sure tastes good to me.
Didn't they feed you good in the Army?
They did all right, Mom.
Well, you look thin. I noticed that right off.
Thin? Everybody else says I put on a little. How's Ed Marley, Pop? He still firing for you?
What?
Bill asked about Ed, Joe. Don't you feel well, dear? Something go wrong on the run?
Today? No, nothing.
Well, you look tired.
I'm all right, Amy. It's just the excitement, I guess. I'll go up and lay down a little while, I think. It's good you're home, son. Real good.
Good to be home, Pop.
Something's wrong, Billy, but I don't know what it is.
Did you tell him about me, Mom?
Not one word. You said in your letter I shouldn't.
Let me talk to him. Got your heartburn again? Can I get you a glass of soda?
No, thanks, Bill.
Oh, boy, I must have grown. These pants are tight and the shirt feels just like a straitjacket.
You filled out, son. Have to go over to Merritt's tomorrow and get you some clothes.
Guess I will.
Got plenty of my coveralls around. Won't need to buy any of those. Here.
I won't need these, Dad.
Well, sure, you can't wear your Army uniform to work. You'll put that away in mothballs to use in parades like I did with mine.
Sure.
Say, I was talking with Sam Stacy, the dispatcher, today, and he says you should drop around as soon as you get a chance. They're putting on a few extra men, and he's trying to keep a place open for you. How about tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
You won't have to go to work tomorrow. Just drop in and say hello. I guess you'll want a little time to settle down again.
Oh, I'm okay.
It's all set, then. Drop in tomorrow and sign up.
Look, I wanted to talk to you about it, Dad, because...
Because what?
Well, I'm not going to be able to sign up, Dad. I decided not to work for the railroad.
Big boy, big boy.
And now Act Two of Big Boy, starring Ed Begley. In a way, perhaps Joe expected his son to let him down. Man can't make a plan for his son, plan it even before it's born. It's too much to expect. Joe thought of Bill working for the road ever since, way back. Never thought of it any other way. He'd start in the shops and then study for his fireman exam, and maybe he'd work with Joe the way Ed Marley figured. And then someday, Bill would have a big boy of his own.
What are you going to do, Bill?
Well, I've enrolled at the university over at Laramie.
University?
Yep. I've been studying overseas, Pop. They call them extension courses, and you mail your work in.
Studying what?
Mechanical drawing. You know, drafting.
Drawing? Sitting at a desk?
That's right. And be a mechanical engineer. You see, I got the GI Bill, Pop, so I wouldn't ask you to send me. I've had a long time to think about it, and I know that's what I want to do.
Mechanical drawing.
You do understand, don't you? Don't you?
Sure.
Gee, I knew you would, Dad. Hey, I thought I'd walk down to the Mayflower. You want to go along?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. I won't be late. Good night, Dad.
Good night, son.
Go downtown, Mom. Be back early.
All right, son. Be careful now. Seems like he's never been away. Going downtown, Mom. Be home early.
In the Cheyenne yards, the morning is just another day. The call boy, Mickey, made his rounds on his bike. Yes, and he was late again. Stopped in front of the Lincoln to look at the pictures. And in the yards, the switch crews are tying cars together. The big boy engines are washed down, scrubbed up, fed coal and water, and lined up ready to go. Just another morning in the yards. But not for Joe Grant. Yeah, Joe reported to Doc Lynch. Been there almost an hour now. Doc's out on a call, his nurse said. 9:20. Maybe he's not coming. Now, if a man reports the way he's told and Doc Lynch just doesn't show up, now that might mean the exam's called off. After all, they can't ask him in. No, that's no good. They'd send you another envelope. Doc sure does a lot of paperwork. Reports, maybe. Examination reports. Joe knows better than to look at the papers on a man's desk. Still, Joe isn't like himself this morning. He's really just looking for his own name. Not sure just what he'd find. Maybe something Doc knows already. Something he guessed. Joe Grant, it'll say? Eyes in terrible shape and his heart barely ticking. A sick man, Joe Grant. He'll go one of these days, just like Red Martin did last Christmas. And Red was only 52. Oh,
hello, Joe.
Hello, Doc.
Take your coat off. And take your shirt off, too. Sorry to have kept you waiting, Joe. You know Tim Doyle up at Crystal Lake?
Doyle?
Yeah, that's right, Tim Doyle.
Yes, I do.
Wife jumped the gun on me. 7-pound girl. Cough, please.
Cough?
That's right, cough. Again, louder. Once more.
he's frowning. That's a bad sign. You suppose it's your lungs, Joe? Lungs?
Give me a bad time for a couple of hours.
Huh?
Doing fine now, though. Open, please. Caught any trout lately, Joe? You know, Sam Stacy says if there's a trout in the Laramie, Joe Grant knows where to find it. I haven't been out myself. Been too darn busy. A lot of sickness around. Yeah, I guess that'll do it.
You're all through?
Oh, no, not yet. Now, relax. Better go over and lie down on that table, old-timer.
Old-timer? So that's what he thinks. Feeble. Fit for the scrap heap. Give him a job in the station selling magazines. A nice, easy job where he can sit down all day.
On your back, please.
Doc, will it take long? I can make a run at 11.
11? Oh, you'll be out of here long before that. No time at all.
When will you know, Doc?
No?
About the exam. When will you know if I passed?
Oh, it won't take very long. Maybe a day or two. Tonight, maybe. Or tomorrow night.
Not till tomorrow night?
Well, now, as soon as the lab sends me a report, I'll let you know. Now, relax. And take it easy, Joe, eh?
A hogger on his deathbed lay. His life was fading fast away.
Grant's taking his physical today.
Yeah, Mike told me. I figured something was happening yesterday. What he acted.
Why, Joe's okay, ain't he?
Oh, Joe's afraid of that kind of thing.
Well, I guess we all worry.
Yeah. Get a day off for a medical and you come around and spend time here?
I thought I'd smoke a cigarette.
How'd it go?
What?
Exam.
I won't know till tomorrow, maybe the next day. You go out?
Just drag up to Harriman.
Who'd you fire for?
Mike.
Mike's good.
Sure, smooth. Young and fast. Guy can learn a lot firing for him.
Sure.
Got a nice touch on that cord, too. Hey, I'm kidding you.
Yeah?
Oh, Mike couldn't drive a handcar compared to you.
No?
Come on, you going home?
Yeah, I guess I better.
Hey, I forgot. I saw Bill.
Oh?
He looks great, Joe. He spilled out a lot. Hey, how about that buck you owe me?
Where'd you see Bill?
Here at the yards. Here's Zen talking with Sam Stacy.
He was?
Sure.
Bill? You sure?
Sure, I'm sure. Come on.
Wait a minute. Bill talking to Stacy. He's the dispatcher. That could mean the boy was just talking last night. Why, sure, he had a good night's sleep, and this morning he forgot all about the university. Bill isn't interested in sitting at a desk drawing. Bill's a railroad man. He's got to be. Sure.
Whenever you have a heavy haul, all you have to do is call on Big Boy, Big Boy, Big Boy.
There's a dance at the Old Timers Saturday night, Bill.
Oh?
Sarah Stacy says they're getting a band all the way from Denver.
That sounds like fun.
Ought to be. Of course, your father won't go. That I can be sure of. Was all I could do to drag him to the Windsor girls' wedding last summer. You still like chocolate pudding?
You kidding?
Well, I made you one last night and you never got to eat it. With marshmallows in it the way you like.
I know. I looked in the icebox.
Oh, you! Spoiling my surprise.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Billy.
Joe, you're early. Supper's not nearly ready.
That's all right. I got plenty of time. You want some help?
From you? I wouldn't have a dish left in the cupboard. You sit down while I get cleaned up.
How's it go, Billy?
Swell, Pop.
See Ed Marley, did you?
Yeah, I ran into him in the yards.
Oh, over that way, were you?
For a while, I stopped in to see Sam Stacy.
That's nice. What did Sam have to say?
What? Oh, Sam. Well, I was going to wait until after dinner, Pop, but I guess now's as good as any time.
Something happened?
Well, I got to talking to Sam about those extension courses I took in the Army. You know, the mechanical drawing courses?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Sam wanted to see some of my plates, so I came back here and got them.
Your plates?
Well, that's what they call drawings. And later I took them over to the hotel and showed them to Mr. Hudson.
Who's he?
Oh, he's an engineer from Laramie.
Hudson? Hogger?
Oh, no, sir, not that kind of an engineer. He's connected with the university.
Oh.
Oh, Pop, what a brain. Honest. Brother, he told me more in 5 minutes than I could learn.
Now, wait a minute. You didn't talk to Sam Stacy about signing up?
Signing up? Why, no, Pop, no. I told you last night.
I know what you told me last night.
Well, didn't you believe me? I was over at the university today, Pop.
University?
Yeah.
You went to Laramie? How? I didn't sign any pass request.
Well, I went over with Mr. Hudson. He drove me over.
The man with the brains.
That's right. Honest, Pop, I don't get it. What are you getting so steamed up about?
Nothing. I just thought when you talked to Sam Stacy that you...
I'd signed on? No, Pop, I meant what I said last night. All Sam, Stacy, and I talked about was diesels.
Diesels?
That's right. The road just ordered 37 million tons of them.
I don't care if they jam the yards full of them. You think that's railroading? Sitting there like somebody driving Mrs. Astor's buggy all neat and clean like a livery chauffeur? You think oil is railroading? You think oil can run an engine?
I know it can.
Oh, you do?
Well, Pop, you just can't deny something when it's staring you in the face. Why, the whole road will be diesel before long.
You think so?
Well, look, you know yourself they aren't ordering any more big boys.
They don't have to. The big boys are good for years yet. They're good forever. You listen to your Mr. Hudson or whatever his name is, but don't tell me about engines. You hear me? I know engines. Don't tell me a thing.
Hey, Pop.
Big boy, big boy, big boy is my name. Oh.
Now, Act 3 of Big Boy, starring Ed Begley. This has been quite a week for Joe Grant, railroad hogger for the Union Pacific. The tension of waiting for the result of his physical examination, coupled with his son's desire to go into a desk job, has been too much. Only Big Boy remains, he thinks, as an unchanging element of his life. Big Boy, his baby, the greatest locomotive in the world. So the diesels are taking over. Maybe he's right, Joe. Maybe what Sam Stacy said a few months back, maybe when Sam asked you to qualify for the diesels, said all you have to do is to take a couple of student runs and pass the exam. Sam told you that. Said it was for your own good. It's just that you don't like to hear it. Isn't that it, Joe? That's Tom Jenkins pulling that cord. You know his touch. Pulling out on the eastern run to North Platte. Pulling out in a Big Boy. Sounds good. Sounds right.
Supper's on.
I'll be in a minute.
Now, you come on inside. You catch your death of cold. I heard you and Bill yelling at each other.
Where is he?
Upstairs in his room.
I guess we got a little excited.
You had a bad day of it, haven't you, Joe? I guess it's kind of hard to get used to new ideas.
Oh, now look, Amy.
Oh, come on, Joe. Did Dr. Lynch say something to upset you?
How did you know?
I knew you were worried, so I called up Sarah Stacy. She called Sam, and so I found out. Did Doc Lynch say something?
I won't know till tomorrow, maybe the day after.
Well, you passed last year, you passed the year before. Now, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, eat your supper. I made croquettes out of the leftover chicken. They'll get cold.
Even when a man's waiting for his medical report, even when his own son thinks the whole world's going to be dieselized, even then a man goes to work. For morning after morning, 24 hours around the clock, the freight yards go on. Here's Big Boy pulling out of the shops after a quarterly inspection. Inside those shops, 6,000 man-hours have gone into tearing Big Boy apart and putting him back together again. He's getting set now for a run, Joe's run. First the water, 25,000 gallons of it. Then coal, 28 tons. Then sand. Joe needs sand when he's pulling up a grade on wet rails. Push a lever and you get sand on the track in front of the wheels. Gives the wheels more traction. All 16 of them. Train's tied together now and Joe's pulling it out of the yards. Now he can feel the wind in his face. Now he can think and think clearly. Day and night, the big boys pull out, heading west to Laramie. Laramie. That's where Mr. Hudson came from. What does he know about an engine? Diesels, huh? Sam Stacy himself said it'd be a good idea to qualify on a diesel. Take Ed now, he's going to qualify. He doesn't tell Joe about it much because he thinks it might get him mad, but Ed's been out a couple of times on a student run. Wouldn't be surprised if Ed made diesel engineer right from here. Lots of the men do it. Joe's motioning to you. You better see what he wants.
You been out in a diesel lately?
You're going to start that again?
Oh, I'm just interested, have you?
Oh, a couple of times.
Who will?
Oh, that new man they brought in from Green River.
Oh, what's his name?
Kincaid. You seen him around? Big fella.
He know what he's doing?
Who?
Kincaid.
Sure he does. Why?
I just wondered. Kincaid, huh? Big fella.
Yeah, he wears a mustache.
There's Dale Cut again. From the cab, Joe can see way up on top, up where he used to bring Amy before they were married. Funny how men don't do things after they're married the way they did before. It'd be nice to bring Amy back here sometime. Just Amy and Joe. Get a blanket maybe and a thermos bottle and sit up there just like they used to. Amy might think it was crazy, though. Maybe not. He's thinking, whatever happened to all those plans we made back in the old days? That big trip to Chicago and the way we were going to fix up the house. And that cabin we wanted up at Elk Mountain. I wonder why we never built it. How the years slip by. Now maybe I'm too old. Maybe Doc Lynch won't pass me. Maybe my eyes or my heart. Well, a man could still build a cabin if he wanted to. Even take a trip to Chicago. Good for Amy, too. A woman needs new ideas once in a while. So does a man. Diesels. I'm too old anyway. Too old for new ideas.
Joe Grant! Joe! Call boy, Joe!
All right, I hear you. You want to wake up the whole town? I'm not up until morning. What's the big idea? Nothing wrong, is there?
No, station wants to know if you want to take a run to Sydney.
But I'm not first on the list. When?
3:30. Boy, this chocolate pudding's good. It's got marshmallows in it. 2 guys are laying off and a couple more up in Laramie. That brings you up next.
Manifest?
Fruit. I can call Mike if you want to lay off. He's up next.
Oh, I'll go.
Sam said you didn't have to.
I said I'll go. Did you get Ed Marley up?
I'll meet you at the wash house. Is it all right to eat the pudding?
Huh? Yeah, it was all right.
Tell Mrs. Grant it was great. 3:30.
Yeah, 3:30.
Oh, hey. Did you ask Bill about the sword?
Sword?
I told you. If he's got a Japanese sword he wants to sell, I'm buying.
I didn't ask him.
Will you?
Yes, I will. Now, go on. Beat it.
Well, tell him I'll give him a good price. Oh, hey, I forgot.
Now what?
Your name's up on the board in the washroom. Better take a look.
My name? What for?
Oh, something about the medical exams.
The medical... What does it say?
Just what it always says. It's a list of guys Doc Lynch says passed. You're on it.
I am? You're sure?
Sure. Why all the fuss? It's just an exam. 3:30 now. I'll tell Stacy.
That's the way the news comes. Just like that. From a boy full of chocolate pudding at 2 o'clock in the morning. All the waiting and the worry, and now in 2 seconds it's all over. All over when a boy says, oh, hey, I forgot. And then he tells you, that's it, Joe, relax. It's all over now. Eyesight, lungs, heart. Doc Lynch didn't find a thing. You're healthy, Joe. Nothing wrong with you. No, sir, not a thing.
Just getting dressed.
Heard the call, boy, and I thought maybe there was trouble.
No trouble. A couple of men are laying off, so I'm up on the list.
What time?
3:30. Go on back to bed.
Yeah, in a minute. Pop.
Huh?
I'm sorry that I wasn't home when you got in last night. I wanted to talk to you.
Oh?
I'm sorry I got so excited. You know, about the diesels.
Forget it.
Wanted to talk to you. Is it okay?
Sure.
You see, well, I know you don't like him, but I saw Mr. Hudson again today. I was with him all afternoon.
Got nothing against the man.
Well, you see, he recommended me to Mr. Craig, over at the engineering office, and Mr. Craig hired me.
Hired you? How?
Part-time. Mr. Hudson says that I can go to classes at the university and work here after classes and on Saturdays, and this summer, too.
Work here?
In the main office, in the engineering department.
You'll be working for the railroad?
I got my seniority number this afternoon.
You did?
Sure. It's okay, isn't it?
You'll be working for the road. Well, what do you know? Does your mother know?
Amy! Knows, Ma, it's over.
It's the same railroad, isn't it?
Oh, sure it is.
What's all the shopping for?
Amy, Billy's working for the road.
I know.
Of course, it'll be working on diesels, Pop.
I thought maybe you might want to take these books with you.
Take what?
These books you were reading in bed last night?
Books?
Just something I was looking at.
Huh. That's the diesel manual.
Yeah? I borrowed them.
You did, huh?
Yeah, I got to talk to this friend of mine over in the washroom. Kincaid, his name is. Jim Kincaid.
Who, dear?
Jim Kincaid. Got a mustache. Swell fella, Amy. Oh, you'd like him, Billy. And say, what he does know about diesels.
No kidding.
Yeah, say, here. Just let me show you something now. Look at this. Take this diesel engine. Take a unit now. One unit has 1,500 horsepower. You got that, son?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Now, you tie three of them together. Say, three tied onto the head of the train. You know what you got there?
What?
Well, it's just a matter of simple arithmetic. 4,500 horsepower. And believe me, that's something.
Sure is.
And what's more, they go backwards and forwards. Don't need any turntable at all. Did you know that? Of course you did. I guess I got a little excited.
Listen, Pop. I don't know a darn thing about diesels. Never even been in one.
No?
No. But I'm going to learn. You know where?
Mr. Hudson?
Sure. But from you, too. I can learn a lot from you, Pop. I always have.
You know, Amy, the boy could at that. Now, the way I see it, once you've driven steam to get onto these diesels, all you have to do is...
All you have to do now is eat your breakfast. 2 eggs?
See, that's right. I've got to run.
2?
You better make it 3. You hungry, Billy?
I sure am. Make me 3 eggs, too, Ma.
Here. Can I help you?
You?
Why, sure. I used to help you, Amy. Used to make good fried eggs, too.
All right. I really want to.
Well, I used to do all the cooking when we had the picnic up at Dale Cut, remember?
I remember, Joe.
Yes, sir. We got to go up to Dale Cut again sometime. I was thinking about that in the run today.
I'd like that.
Sure, I was thinking about a lot of things. About you and I. Say, we have got to take that trip to Chicago.
Why, Joe, I think you really mean it.
Johnny.
Setting up your run?
Yeah.
Steam, Dad.
We've still got steam, you know. We've still got the big boys.
Of course. 3 more. Bill wants 3, too.
Huh? Oh.
Trip to Chicago, Ma. You hold him to it now. Yeah.
You hear that, Amy? That's pretty. Yes, sir. Steam or diesel. That's still pretty.
Joe Grant, engineer, hogger, railroad man. And Joe's right. The railroad goes rolling along.
Big boy, big boy is my name. Big boy, playing my game. You should have seen the time we made. 90 cars up the Sherman grade on Big Boy, Big Boy.
Montgomery.
Thank you, Bill, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Lucky Strike Theater, coming to you from Studio 8H in New York City. We have tonight a rather unusual story. It concerns a hero who weighs over 1 million pounds. He's over 132 feet in length. And when the men of the Union Pacific first saw him, they called him Big Boy, for he's the largest steam engine in the world. And Big Boy is right here in Studio 8H with the engineer. Tonight's other star is Mr. Ed Begley, and he will soon get up a load of steam, and you'll see them highball it out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, with a fine length of freight train about a mile long.
Big boy, big boy, big boy is my name. If ever you have a heavy haul, all you have to do is call on Big Boy. Big boy, big boy is my name.
Tonight we're going to meet a man named Joe Grant. And Joe Grant is in love. In fact, he has two loves. One is his wife, Amy. Nothing very special about Amy. She's not particularly pretty, certainly not brilliant. In a way, she's not too much of anything. The other love, the big thing in Joe's life, is an engine.
All in freight's my game.
This is Union Pacific's Big Boy, Joe's love, his baby. Some baby. For this is the largest locomotive in the world. The baby's weight, 1,189,500 pounds. Measurements, 32 feet. Formula, 28 tons of coal at a gulp washed down with 25,000 gallons of water. Ask Joe. He's the father. Joe's the engineer. This is Joe Grant's house in Cheyenne, Wyoming. In a little while now, when the dawn comes up, we'll see that it could stand a coat of paint. No, he's lived here nearly 25 years, and in a way, he's never seen it.
His touch. Mike.
Yeah, I guess it is. He's got to run to Laramie.
I know.
See, if Bill's got a sword, I'll buy it off him. Tell him?
Sure.
Yeah, this is Joe Grant. Railroad man, engineer, hogger. Joe's thinking now. He looks worried. Is it about his son, about Bill, who's coming in on the streamliner at 6:30 tonight? Coming home, finally, after a long stretch in Korea and Japan? No, it's not about Bill. Maybe it's about that new slipcover Amy made for the easy chair. It's been there over a week now. No, he hasn't seen it. Joe's like that around the house. He just doesn't notice things. Been living here, right here, all these years, and he never really looked at his home at all. Why? Joe's in love. He's been in love since September 1941, when Sam Stacy, the chief dispatcher, squinted over his glasses at Joe and said, "They're bringing in a new engine, Joe, the biggest steam locomotive in the whole world. You're going to be the hogger." That's when Joe Grant fell in love. When he heard... Thank you, Bill, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Lucky Strike Theater, coming to you from Studio 8H in New York City. We have tonight a rather unusual story. It concerns a hero who weighs over 1 million pounds. He's over 132 feet in length. And when the men of the Union Pacific first saw him, they called him Big Boy, for he's the largest steam engine in the world. And Big Boy is right here in Studio 8H with the engineer. Tonight's other star is Mr. Ed Begley, and he will soon get up a load of steam, and you'll see them highball it out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, with a fine length of freight train about a mile long.
Big boy, big boy, big boy is my name. If ever you have a heavy haul...
In a way, he's never seen it. This is a call boy for the railroad. His name is Mickey, and he's supposed to wake Joe up a full 90 minutes before his run. That's a call boy's job. He was held up in the snow. Also, he should never have stopped to stare at the pictures in front of the movie house.
Joe? Joe Grant? Joe!
All right. You want to wake the whole town?
Joe, you're late.
You mean you're late?
You got time. Boy, it's cold out.
Did you get Ed Marley up?
He's up. Hey, ain't this the day Bill gets home?
He gets in on 102 at 6:30.
102, how come?
Well, he's coming from San Francisco. That's how come. Now, go on, beat it.
Passes ain't no good on 102.
Since when does a soldier need a company pass?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Think he'll bring any stuff from Japan? Any souvenirs or stuff? Maybe one of those swords?
You hear that? You're late.
That's just Russo. He always hangs on a cord when he's hostling.
It's not Russo. That's not...
Heard that engine's whistle that first morning. He looked at the 16 wheels, the 2,000 square feet of heating surface. He named it Big Boy. He's been in love ever since.
Mickey, come.
Come in on.
You have a call?
Yeah, run to Laramie. Mike's tying up in the yard.
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't go out today.
Well, my name's ahead of the list.
You could lay off for a day with Bill coming home and all. Want eggs?
No, thanks. I thought I'd go down the yard a little early today. Number 12's due out, and I noticed the right injector's clogged. I'll try to deadhead home before 102 gets in.
Joe,
Yeah?
you were restless last night. Let me look at you.
Oh, now, Amy.
Maybe you're all right, but you got something on your mind. I can tell just looking at you.
What can you tell by looking, Amy? If Joe loves you, too? He seems to. Sometimes you wonder, though. You wonder if that man loves anything except Big Boy. If he...
All you have to do is call on Big Boy. Big Boy, Big Boy is my name.
Tonight we're going to meet a man named Joe Grant. And Joe Grant is in love. In fact, he has two loves. One is his wife, Amy. Nothing very special about Amy. She's not particularly pretty, certainly not brilliant. In a way, she's not too much of anything. The other love, the big thing in Joe's life, is an engine.
All in freight's my game.
This is Union Pacific's Big Boy, Joe's love, his baby. Some baby. For this is the largest locomotive in the world. The baby's weight, 1,189,500 pounds. Measurements, 32 feet. Formula, 28 tons of coal at a gulp washed down with 25,000 gallons of water. Ask Joe. He's the father. Joe's the engineer. This is Joe Grant's house in Cheyenne, Wyoming. In a little while now, when the dawn comes up, we'll see that it could stand a coat of paint. Joe wouldn't know. He's lived here nearly 25 years, and